joined in. Alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you for joining the Happier Deen show. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Wa alaikum salam to barakatuh, Brother Shakur. Thanks for joining us. Alhamdulillah. Wa alaikum salam to barakatuh, Brother Jerome. Thank you for joining us. Alhamdulillah. Let's see who else joined the room. Sister Hen. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for joining us. Alhamdulillah. Brother Jay.
Wa alaikum salam. Sister Hind.
Alhamdulillah. Brother Jay. Brother Farouk. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum salam. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Alhamdulillah. Satima from the Gambia. Wa alaikum salam. Rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam to barakatuh.
Alhamdulillah. Let's begin, inshallah.
I'm at work, but if I hop off, it's because I got a call. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa salatu wa salam ala Sayyidil Mursaleen Muhammad ibn Abdillahi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Once again, assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everybody. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
We're glad to be here. We've been very busy. This is why we haven't had a show.
Look at him.
Let me get the excuse out, Hassan Ali, before you say it. Right? Let me get the excuse out. Sister Nora, thank you for being patient with me. I didn't forget about your message, inshallah. I intend to answer tonight, inshallah.
Yeah, he haven't forgotten about you, mashallah.
Extremely
Thank you for
busy.
joining. Yeah, he been busy. Thank you for joining us. Assalamu alaikum, Sister Nora. Alhamdulillah. Wa alaikum salam to the barakatuh. Alhamdulillah.
Hassan Ali, go to my Right?
I wanted to mention something before we start real quickly.
Okay.
Allah, sent, a storm through on our side of the country. And as the news, been, reported, some of it been fake news. You know how they have the hashtag fake news. Some of it was hate news. Fake news, given that these reporters, weather reporters are so desperate for attention and they look stupid online. They sitting there in like a waist deep of water and people behind them is just, just walking around like it's regular. There's one dude, he act like it was like 100, miles per hour winds, and he's doing the body,
I saw your show, saw the video. It went viral. It was a news reporter like he's fighting against the wind,
right.
And then behind him, just two guys just casually walk by.
Just walking, like somebody said, eating Skittles or M&Ms. Ain't going anywhere. So, but besides that,
and then another video, it was a reporter. Looked like he was standing in like almost waist high water.
Right.
Then again, right behind him, two guys casually walk by.
Like it's ridiculous. You can't believe what you see sometimes. But the reason why I mention that is that there's some Muslims and non-Muslims alike that are needing help. Like the storm has caused a lot of flooding in a lot of areas down there. So if you're able to assist, if you're nearby, if you see any call for help, make it your business to reach out to folk, ask around, ask how people are doing, because just because the storm has cleared, there's still the ramifications of flooding and such. And unfortunately, some people died. We know 2 babies that died in this storm. May Allah have mercy on their souls. And keep them in your du'as, keep your families in your du'as, regardless if they Muslim or not. They're human beings. We are supposed to look out for, humankind in general. Okay, so if you're able to assist financially, there's a masjid somewhere. I was looking at a live feed where a masjid is like, it's like 10 feet away from it being flooded, and that was yesterday. So I'm not sure if the water subsided since then or not. I forgot where, if it was South Carolina, somewhere. But
it depends on where. That's what I was about to mention.
SubhanAllah.
Because even though the storm is over, you still have rains in some areas, and then the waters have to, run down, from the ocean to the rivers to the creeks.
Right.
And today, around, they said between 8 and 10 a.m. today, that already passed, they were saying they expected the waters to crest, reach its height.
Wow.
In the Cape Fear River or Creek in Fayetteville.
Yeah, that's oh wow, yeah.
See, the waters, downstream, you still have problems.
Right. So, if you can help, assist, please do that for your fellow mankind. That's what we're supposed to do anyway. And if you're not able to do any of those things, keep them in your du'as and, ask Allah to rectify their situations and, give them help. And I've just been seeing some real ignorant stuff online about people like, well, why didn't they leave or why didn't they escape? Like, it's so easy to say that if you're living in a metropolitan area. If you're living in the rural areas and things like that, and then really not even that, depending on your situation, you may not been able to leave for whatever reason.
And you're already broke.
Right, you're not able to move around like that, So don't say, well, if they should have left, then they wouldn't be in that situation. That's so insensitive to say. Like, our mouths, I'm going to say typing because it's not coming out our mouths. Our etiquette as far as how we react to things is really messed up. And it's like, I have no faith in a lot of people. SubhanAllah. Right. Reminding people to share. Exactly. So if you're able to help, if you have food, shelter, something to assist, please do that. Because if I was in that situation, I would want some help. And if I was able to give the help, I would like to assist that, and we should, just do what we're supposed to do.
Also, you have to be mindful of when so-called natural disasters like this hit. You have some people who are running the show who are really shayateen. They're really devils. And so they capitalize on moments like this right? Moments like this.
Share the program. Oh, all right. Alhamdulillah. Share the program. Alhamdulillah.
Reminding people to share the program.
Share the program.
Let people know we on. It's going to be a short show today, inshallah.
Yeah, short one today.
Let the people know we here, inshallah. But you have to be mindful of people use events like this to create more problems. And I just have to remind you about Hurricane Katrina. And most of the experts say, well, I haven't heard anybody who disagree with it, but the experts say that it wasn't necessarily the hurricane itself that caused the problem, but it was the levees that broke, that caused the problem. And on top of that, a lot of black people were killed during that time. A lot of the rescue efforts that you saw, they were literally leaving people and or they would rescue the babies and not the parents and let the parents die. There's a whole lot of crazy stuff going on down there. And also the way they tweaked the narrative. Like, for example, I remember seeing a meme or a picture where it was a black person had some food coming from a store. They said looting. And then had a white person doing the same thing, and they said looking for food to survive. Right? Both people are doing the same thing. The white person and the black person have broke into the store for food, right? To survive.
Right.
They labeled the black person doing it looting. They labeled the white person doing it, survival.
Right.
It wasn't like the person that they showed had like a flat screen TV on his back in the middle of a hurricane. No, it was somebody trying to get food. Likewise, same thing taking place in North Carolina and South Carolina. They keep showing these videos of this Family Dollar where people are going in there looting, and they're showing all the rescue workers, all of them. You just keep seeing white people rescue black people. It's not done by accident. There's white people being rescued as well. But you got to understand, these people, they trying to control the minds and control their image to outsiders. Because right, it's well known around the world, for example, that police shoot innocent black people and they don't get convicted or charged or face any repercussions behind it. It's well known, right? And so when situations like this come about, they tweak their narrative so that everyone, for example, everyone that you see being rescued, they make sure that the rescuer is white and the rescuee is black. So that sends out the image like, oh wow, now everybody's not so bad. Look at them, these good white folks rescuing these poor helpless black folks. As if there's no rescuers or rescue workers who are black, and no, people who need help who are white. Right. So they tweak everything. They weaponize and monetize everything, even a disaster or catastrophe like this. So be careful of how your opinions are shaped by what you see in the news. And alhamdulillah, while social media is still free and is still in the hands of everybody, the rich and the poor, it's sad to say it's better to get your news from social media. You have just as much chance of the news being unreliable on social media as you do from the so-called established news outlets. And that's a shame.
Yeah. SubhanAllah.
Alhamdulillah. So, what we wanted to briefly discuss today is the role of knowledge in our marriages. The role of knowledge in our marriages. What's the role of knowledge in your marriage? Does knowledge even have a role? What do you think, Habibi?
Most definitely.
Well, should it have a role?
It has to have a role, because how would you know how to function in that capacity? Mm-hmm. When you decide to get married, isn't there certain things, rudimentary things that you need to know to get into the door, to even embark on that, to act on it? You can't just marry on any old kind of way. Just outside of the marriage itself, like, you need to have some information there to make sure that you are doing it the proper way, because it may result that you are not technically married according to the book and the sunnah. So. And
this is extremely common. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Michael, alhamdulillah. The scholars say, it's a saying that al-ilm imam al-ibadah, that, or amal, knowledge goes before, or it's the imam of action, or worship, right?
Right.
Knowledge should precede it. In other words, anything that you're doing, knowledge of that thing must precede your action, obviously, so that you can do it right. And you gave a perfect example. I don't know how many people I've come across who think that they're married and they haven't fulfilled the prerequisites of marriage. Sometimes they fall short on many of the prerequisites. Sometimes there's no witnesses. And then if you have knowledge of the different schools, maybe you can find a loophole about it. Well, perhaps they had a walima, so the walima can substitute for they didn't have no walima. It just goes on. There was no dowry, or there was no dowry established, implicit or explicit. So many different ways. Or maybe the person was in a prohibited degrees of marriage where you shouldn't be married anyway.
Right.
There's so many things that people are doing, even with regards to marriage, that in fact invalidates the marriage. And then we think about it, right? Suppose someone is in a marriage that's not really a marriage. Then they have babies, children.
Wow.
You see how it can snowball. Oh, now you got a bastard child. Waladu zina, a child of fornication. And then, it just goes on and on and on. And you stifle, you impact your own lineage. A lot of people think a lot of people think ignorance is cool. Well, if I don't know, I won't be held accountable. No. That type of logic, that thinking don't apply to everything. There are certain things that are ma'lum min ad-din bi-darara. There are certain things that have to be known of the religion by necessity. You can't claim ignorance as an excuse. Well, I didn't know, so I'm not held accountable. No, certain things you have to know.
Right.
In short, if it's obligatory for you to do, it's obligatory upon you to have a foundation, or at least a bare minimum of knowledge with regards to that thing. If it's something that is not obligatory, but you're doing it, you have to know.
Exactly.
Like marriage.
Exactly. SubhanAllah. But also, the first hadith in the 40 hadith of Iman and Nawawi. That first hadith is like a proof against those that has that idea that, you know, I didn't know, I'm not held accountable. You have those that could have known but refused to do that, and their intention was to avoid learning that thing, so in their mind they're not going to be held accountable. Like, that's some messed up thinking. Like, you on purpose didn't learn a thing when you had the opportunity, but your intention all the while was not to learn it so that you can or cannot do whatever it is that you were trying to avoid or try to, involve yourself in. So.
I actually met people that verbalize that. They actually verbalize, and this is the amazing thing about this time period. You have people that actually verbalize their sin. If you think before, people used to just keep their sins quiet. They used to do their sin, not preemptively discuss their sin and then follow it up with action, with actually doing the sin. So now you call people in to bear witness against the fact that you intended to sin and that you sinned, and you remain firmly rooted in your sin.
And then they go further to lying on the law and His Messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's like, well, the Deen is easy. So when it comes to something that you want to partake in, such as eating something haram, you want to go to the buffalo wing spot. You know the wings are not halal, but you take the position, well, the Deen is easy. Why you gotta make it hard? Why I gotta find out if the wings is halal or not?
Yeah.
Why I gotta find out all these things? I just want to eat there, and you just making it hard. He'll tell the person that, trying to, give them the nasiha, why you trying to make it hard for me? And they'll be lax with everything else, like they salat. Oh, I ain't got to make salat. I'm tired. You can yarn one
Deen
time.
is easy.
Yeah, you can yarn one time, I'm tired. I don't have to make salat right now because, I got to be, fully awake to make my salat. just making the whole
We some amazing people. Wa alaikum salam wa
barakatuh.
Like,
so, you just making up all these excuses to avoid that thing that will prevent you from doing what your lowly desires want you to partake in. So.
And then, again, people say the Deen is easy. A lot of us, especially in this age, we think the Deen or different aspects of the Deen or different definitions of context of the Deen is relative to us. Like, it's centered on us. The Deen is easy. So if I think this is easy, that's what the Deen is supposed to be.
Right.
The easy is not what you say it is. Easy is what Allah and His Messenger says it is. And you have to keep reminding people of this. Like, well, I think it's easy. It's not about what you think. It's not your Deen. It's Allah's Deen. Right?
Right.
SubhanAllah. Another point that I think that it's important with regards to knowledge. Because, especially because we're talking about the role of knowledge in the marriage. First of all, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, and this hadith has been narrated by Anas ibn Malik, he said, Talabul ilm faridatu ala kulli Muslim. Seeking knowledge is obligatory upon every Muslim. Right? And we know that the knowledge that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is speaking about the fard ayn, the individual obligatory knowledge, the knowledge that will enable you to carry out your individual obligations properly, right? So every Muslim has some level of knowledge that they should be striving to attain and achieve. And I'm going to keep saying this because the mindset has changed. When you hear nowadays that someone's seeking knowledge, you automatically assume or think that that person's trying to be a scholar or a student of knowledge or an imam or what have you. This is not, and it should not be the case. If you're a Muslim, you should be seeking knowledge, not only if you want to be a scholar.
Right.
You should be at least seeking the fard ayn, the knowledge of the fard ayn. But knowledge in the marriage is important because we're not static human beings. Because a lot of marriages break up or become or have problems because you have one person that's actively seeking knowledge and they are applying that knowledge And then when you have someone else who don't care about that knowledge, that's a problem. Because the one who's not seeking the knowledge, when that person starts to change, because as your knowledge grow, your actions, your righteousness, and all of these sincerity, all of these things should grow with you. So you're naturally going to change. But if only one of you are changing and one of you is static or even regressing, you're going to grow apart.
Right.
Someone's going to say, this is not the person I married. Someone's going to say, well, for example, maybe, and this is a real example, maybe a brother, he married a sister, and maybe at the sit down, the sister says, are you comfortable with me dressing like such and such and so and so? And he says, yeah, at the sit down. Now he's starting to increase in knowledge, and then he says, I don't want you to dress like this anymore. You should dress like this now. And the sister may say, well, subhanAllah, you was cool with me dressing like this when you married me. Why you want me to change now? And he might say, well, I didn't know I didn't know then what I know now. But if the sister is not seeking knowledge right along with them, she may interpret that as he's on some male chauvinist stuff. He's trying to oppress me. He's trying to control me or whatever. And while that may not be the fact, his knowledge has grown. Yours stayed the same.
I could flip it also. If the wife is seeking it and the husband is not,
right,
he may feel like she is not staying in her lane when she give him the siha, or she's not qualified or in that role to tell him anything. The knowledge is not, how can I say it? It's not exclusive to anyone else, whether you're male or female. As far if you know it, you know it.
Exactly.
If you are required to teach, regardless if you are male or female. And so if you got this mind that my wife cannot teach me, that says a lot about your mentality and your state of mind and your maturity. You're not marriage material if no one can teach you anything. And so you have those situations there also where you not knowing we talking about knowledge, right? If you don't have knowledge of what the role is as both parties, how do you expect the marriage to be happy? You know what I'm saying? And when I say happy, I mean things gonna happen, but I'm saying how you expect it to be smooth in the matter that if y'all have problems, it's not like, oh, all is lost, let's get divorced. Like you have people like that. First sign of trouble, all right, it's time for divorce.
Right.
But if you had knowledge about how things work, how the woman, her role is and what the man is and the makeup of the woman, like, the hadith, and I'm just paraphrasing, that the woman is like a rib. Don't try to straighten it out. Brothers, y'all be trying to straighten out the woman. That's not your place. Allah made her like that. So you got to figure out how to deal with her. Not just throw her away like a piece of old bone or whatever. Right? But because you didn't have knowledge on how to deal with that rib and its curve, it's to protect, right? The rib is not straight. Rib is curved to protect what? Your inner organs, right? So look at the woman. She's there to protect you, to protect your honor, protect your household, protect everything that is dear to you, vice versa. But if you don't understand that, he said crook. Same thing.
Crooked.
Crooked. Same thing. It's curved. Same thing.
Y'all know y'all crooked.
But that's not to be looked at as a bad thing. You understand? She's made that way. Allah created her that way, as well as Allah created the male. Allah says in Quran, Al-Rijal Kawamuna Al-Nisa, right? Y'all supposed to be the maintainers and protectors of women. Some of y'all don't know how to be like that. How do you be like that? You got to seek knowledge. Some of y'all just think, just because I'm a man, I'm a kawamuna. No, that is your role. But if you got
we can like domestically abuse you, right? That's protection.
No. That's your Allah gave you that role. But how do you give it its haq?
Yeah.
If you didn't seek knowledge,
that protection is on many levels, not just like a physical level, it's on the economic level, it's on the spiritual level, and it's on the intellectual level.
Right.
You know, that protection comes in many ways. I've seen brothers lose their wives because they weren't able to intellectually feed or, i.e., protect their wives.
Right.
And they were crooked anyway, because because they opened the door for it. But I seen brothers lose their wives because someone was kicking some higher knowledge than he had, and the wife will come home asking the husband some questions that she learned from some random brother that she met on the street and couldn't answer it, and then she lost respect for her husband.
So parallel. Let me go back.
Go back more.
More. Okay.
One more.
As soon as something.
Go down more. Hassan Ali said, knowledge is like the rain that falls from the sky. And this is what the Sheikh Uthman Dan Fodio, said in his book Umdatu Bayan. And he's actually extracted from a hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam equated knowledge with rainwater. Because the point being is that when rain comes down, whatever's growing is going to increase. Whether that be grass, good vegetation, weeds, poison, whatever's there is going to grow when rain comes. And the same thing with knowledge.
Right.
You know, if you're sincere, you get more knowledge, you increase in sincerity. If you're arrogant and you get more knowledge, you increase in arrogance. If you're stingy and you get more knowledge, you increase in stinginess.
Right.
If you're shy and you get more knowledge, you increase in shyness, etc., etc., etc.
You can okay, as soon as something turns into an argument, oh, you holy now. Yep.
You holier than thou.
Yep.
Oh, you holier than thou now. You think you better than me. You righteous Rodney. You pious Patty.
Yeah. That's where a patient comes in and care for that person. The Lord knows better. And then Hassan Ali, he making fun of me when I said curd, and he said crooked.
Yeah.
Tomato. Just like someone that's incarcerated, right?
Uh-huh.
Now, being incarcerated is supposed to rehabilitate you from living that lifestyle that got you there in the first place.
Right.
Some people, they go in there and they're not necessarily rehabilitated by the...
Say it again on top of the record. Say it one more time for the record. Rehabilitated.
Rehabilitated.
Did you say the H in habilitate? Say habilitate. Let's break it down. Hold on. Come on. Come on, let's break it down.
What I'm trying to say is a person may not be rehabilitated by going to jail, being behind bars per se, but they just get tired of living that life out there. They want to do something different. Then you got some people that go in there and they're like, okay, I got in here because I did XYZ. How can I avoid, coming in here still doing the same thing? You increase your knowledge in the wrongdoing.
Right.
So when you come back out, you causing more, more harm and what have you. So, we have to think about that. Like when we are seeking knowledge, even in marriage, are you seeking it to get closer to your zawj or better understand the relationship that y'all have and understanding that person? Because sometimes that will help the marriage, even though it may be shaky. You having this certain knowledge will help you to navigate. You won't be so hard on the person. You're more merciful. You won't take everything as personal because you're thinking this is a lost creation. That's my zawj. Whether it's the man or woman, that's my zawj. They're trying. And let me help them through this if this is what, if that's what you want. If you truly want that, you have to be sincere about it. But some people, they use knowledge to bang the other person over the head and make them feel, real ignorant, make them feel lowly. And I'm like, why would you want to do that to your partner? If this is supposed to be your partner, your best friend, your confidant, that knowledge should be, shared amongst yourselves. And you should want to receive it, whoever, from the person that, that's giving it.
Exactly.
So.
And, a lot of brothers have problems learning from women in general and their wives in particular.
Why?
I don't know why, because that's not the character of the Sahaba. How many Sahaba, mind you, if you're a Sahaba, you had contact with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. some of these same Sahaba also learned from his wife, Aisha.
Mm-hmm.
She, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said half of Deen is from Aisha.
Mm-hmm.
And the Prophet after the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's passing, many Sahaba learned from his Aisha. They ain't say, well, I was with the Prophet too. I don't need to, I don't need to learn from his wife. Who she thinks she is? She thinks she's something just because he was married to her. I was with him too. No, I was billah. A lot of these sentiments and ideas that we have don't even come from Islam. Many of our greatest scholars, one of their scholars or more than one of their scholars were women. And usually, the first one of their scholars was their mother.
Mm-hmm. Right. SubhanAllah. Mm-hmm. So, that's what, you go back. Hold on. Oh, you got it there too, right?
Yeah, Bettina said, and knowledge should be coupled with wisdom. It's no use if the individual lacks wisdom to apply it. Indeed. Because the wisdom is the knowing how to apply it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, to give you a parable, it's like, and I always say this, people always say, oh man, we need to stay away from, this modern medicine is making us more sick. And that's correct.
Right.
We need to eat that to cure this.
Right.
To eat that and cure this. But people always hold back the wisdom part.
Right.
They tell you what herb, what plant, what fruit cures such and such and so and so, but they don't tell you how much to take.
Right.
When to take it.
Yep.
How long to take it.
How long to
right?
take it. What effects does it have on your body when you take it?
Exactly.
And if you were to take it and discontinue using it, what effects will it have it then? So it's like when somebody's like telling you, I'm going to give you some information. Like I see a lot of commercials now on FB, a lot of sponsored stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, well, let me tell you how to do XYZ, how to make $1,000, how to do this, that, and the other. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you're not going to give me your secret.
You're giving out the knowledge, but you're not giving out the wisdom.
Right, the wisdom part of it because
you want to charge me for the wisdom part. Right. And just like these herbal people that I just mentioned, I use for example, because they want to charge you up just like the modern medicine people do. They want to charge you up the same way. But all you got to do is take black seed, man. Alhamdulillah.
Right.
And we know the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said black seed is a cure for every disease except death. But for this particular sickness, how should I take the black seed? Mm-hmm. What form should I take it in? Should I just eat it? Should I chew it? How much? Should I press the oil out of it? Should I put it on my skin? How much?
Right.
They leave out that part.
Right. And this goes for, you need to want it. You understand? Like, someone that asks for knowledge, you got to really sincerely want it and not to, just lip service. You have to live it because once you know, you owe. Meaning, you have to live by that information. You know what I'm saying? And so if it's a husband and he's teaching his wife, his intention is so that she can be a better Muslim, a better wife, a better mother. That's his intention for teaching her. And her reasoning for accepting the knowledge, and she should want to accept the knowledge, is to please Allah. You understand? To follow the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, which in turn will please him. He'll be content with that. Even if she makes mistakes, he'll be content with that. But some of y'all brothers are so, y'all
brothers.
Yeah, y'all. I'm generalizing. Not everybody.
Generalizing?
Yeah, I'm not saying every brother, but some brothers, they be
not
taking
every brother.
Not every brother. They take it to the next level.
Not all brothers.
No. They'll use it to oppress the woman.
Not all of them.
No, not all of them. But some brothers use knowledge to oppress their wives. Ask me how. Or what's your what you think I intended by that remark?
I don't know.
Now ask the listening audience, how do some brothers oppress their wives regarding the knowledge that he has?
Break it down.
Can somebody tell me that?
Break it down.
I want to see if anybody have any input on that.
Wait and see. She's waiting to hear from you. How do some brothers use knowledge to oppress their wives? That was the question.
Yeah, that was the question. And I hear it a lot.
You hear it a lot?
I hear it a lot. Well, let me start off and y'all can chime in. How? She said how? I'm asking, how do they? Sometimes you have brothers, they will play on the sisters, keeping them in the dark as regarding their right. Yes. Now, there should be certain things, and I'm gonna piggyback on this, that should have been discussed at the sit down. You don't talk about everything,
right?
But there's certain things that need to be expressed, like polygyny. Let's throw that out there. That hot word, that flag word, right? Mm-hmm. Polygyny, right? He need to put that out there. That either he's looking or he's open to it or what have you, and then feel from the sister what's her feelings about it. Because sometimes we be playing ourselves by, oh, it's no problem. I ain't got a problem with that. That's the sister, right? I ain't got no problem with it, And he's being upfront. Or he'll say, oh, I ain't looking for another wife. I ain't interested in another wife, right? He play that game.
It's only you, baby.
Right, only you. Just to get the girl, right? Just to get the sister. Because he know that's the only way he going to get that sister, because she ain't hearing that. And so, when it's time, they get married, and then all of a sudden now, if he even say anything to her, it's an issue. All that could have been avoided if it had been discussed before. Mm-hmm. You understand? By not sharing what a benefit for her against him. What is a benefit for her? Right. You don't have to get married. The brother could say, well, I'm looking for another wife, or I'm open to it. It's up to you whether you want to accept this or not, because this is what I'm going to do. Some brothers, y'all not strong enough to tell the sister that, because y'all not trying to lose her. We be lying. Like the size of a dry on the paper or something. I ain't talking about that, mashallah. Like how you put emphasis on some. Right. Yeah, it is some. But, like with the polygyny thing. And so when the husband, the attendees, they talk, let it be known. And if you have issues, as the sister may have issue, and she may, I don't know, but I'm willing. Nobody held a gun to your head. So either you're going to do it or you don't. Mm-hmm. But there's a possibility, because he was upfront about it. And then, and then I can also take it there where he had other issues in his past. Maybe he went to jail. Maybe he got kids. Some people don't like to disclose that information. They feel like they don't need to know. And they need to know that. That doesn't work all the time, polygyny, if what they said is not heard by the woman. If what they said is not heard by the woman. Well, you got to be clear. But we're just saying, just the optimal situation. But if there's other things that he needs to put out there, there's things that she should know. Like, he might have got molested when he was younger. He might have engaged in same-sex situation. These things needs to be discussed, because after the marriage, somehow it may manifest in a way where it's not going to be good, because she didn't know that information, and then she's looked at as, why didn't you why didn't you tell me, and things like that.
Shakur said they overshadow their wife by acting as if they know so much to keep their wife in a subordinate position, instead of sharing whatever they know in order to honestly increase their wife's knowledge on a practical level.
I agree with that. Mm-hmm. Yes, I agree with that. So if you know, like whatever the brother know, your wife should know. Mm-hmm. You understand? Like there's nothing that a wife should know. Like somebody might say, well, he got to know, like we have our class, our khatib class, right?
Right.
Somebody might say, well, women don't need to know what that is. Yes, she do need to know to see if the, she want to know. Even though she may not be the person performing, the khutbah, it's good for her to know. Just for informational purposes, maybe she going to hold a class and teach it. Right. It didn't say that a woman couldn't teach a khatib class, right?
Right.
It's not limited to the gender. But, you know, certain things, you cannot do that to oppress the person and make them feel a certain way. Like, you have some women, the brother doesn't teach, and so the brother threatens the wife with divorce because she don't know certain things that he didn't even teach her. Right. And she begged him, can you teach me? Oh, I'm busy. And they busy teaching other people, or they just don't, you know, give her the time. But then you be like, well, see, you making the law mad at you. You know, the angels cursing you because X, Y, Z, whatever. And she, you know, sincerely like, well, I didn't know I was supposed to act this way or what have you. Because some people just don't know. Just like some brothers don't know. Some sisters don't know how to be wives. They weren't raised up that way.
And a lot of people don't know that verse in the Quran that I'm pretty sure all of us heard. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu ku anfusakum wa ahlikum naran. O you who believe, save yourselves and your family from the fire.
Right.
That's a command from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I don't care. I'm so confident on this because I've done it, the research already. You can look up any tafsir. And they will tell you what Allah means by saving one's family is by teaching them and by rearing them properly. So it is the man's responsibility to teach his wife, not to hoard the knowledge to himself or ration out the knowledge in such a way to manipulate. No, you're supposed to teach your family. Because by you teaching your family, you're saving and protecting them from the hellfire.
Exactly. And if you don't know, a lot of brothers, I ain't going to say a lot of brothers, some brothers. Let me put that out there. Some brothers.
Yeah, not all.
Their egos are so big. If they don't know something, they don't want nobody to know.
How big?
Just big. Big enough where they can't take in knowledge. They don't want people to know. They don't want people to know that they don't know certain things. Or their wife, well, I don't know how to make salat the correct way, or to her, whatever it is. I'm just making up stuff. Yeah. He don't want her to know that, because then she may look at him like, wait a minute, brother. But if he was up front like, sister, I'm learning, I want us to learn together, then okay, you understand? But if he come in the door like the brother saying, he used that facade that he know and really don't know, you're gonna have issues, and that's oppressing me as a wife, because I can't fulfill my obligation to Allah if you didn't teach me, which is your responsibility. That's oppressing me.
Brothers, y'all don't know how liberating La Adri is. I don't know, right? A lot of people, they always got to know everything. Like, like when it's clear the brother don't know, and then you tell him, like, yeah, I knew that anyway. I thought you meant. Listen, man. Imam Naeem, what's such and such and such and such? I don't know. Right? The bird is off here. I don't know. Right?
I have asked you stuff. You're like, I don't know. Like, go look it up. So
teach me.
Right, teach them. But brothers, please don't do that. You're doing yourself a disservice, and you are oppressing your wife. And if she has children, you're oppressing them, because you're withholding that, that way for them, that opening for them. Like, you're blocking them. Because, one, you don't want nobody else to teach her. You got them brothers, too. I don't want you going to class. I don't want you to go sit with such and such.
He hides his insecurity behind bootleg minhaj issues or methodology issues.
No, I don't want you to go in because, all the sisters, they look like they, just making up stuff.
Yeah.
Knowledge, if the knowledge is beneficial and it's what's the word I want to say? It's the word is
it's time to wrap it up because it's getting close to Maghrib out here.
I can't. The word just slipped my mind. But if the knowledge is going to help you to know the bare minimum that's going to be acceptable by Allah, right? It's going to take care of that requirement. Then let her learn. That makes you a big man. That is attractive. That you allow me, to better myself. Yeah. And when I say allow, I'm just saying, like, you have no problem and it's not no reflection on you. You look great in my eyes because you don't want to see me ignorant. You're not attracted to me because I remain ignorant. Right. And you're not satisfied that I am ignorant. So by you allowing me to get knowledge, that makes you the man. And we're going to treat you like the man.
Hen said, a lot of times, she asks her husband something, and he says he don't know, and then he goes to his imam. And I just add to that, a lot of times he comes to his imam, and his imam say he don't know either. That'd be a lie.
Oh, Toy, so what's the topic? The topic is the importance of knowledge in marriage.
Some brothers keep their wives ignorant so they won't exceed them in knowledge or be in a position to correct them. And a lot of people do not like to be corrected.
Nope.
You know, one of the strongest personalities we have in the Deen, Umar ibn al-Khattab, right? He was about to give a fatwa. In fact, he gave the fatwa already in the minbar, in public, in the masjid, restricting
the mahr, right?
The mahr, yeah, restricting the dowry. And then a woman quoted a verse of Quran. A woman quoted a verse of Quran, and Umar said, "See, everybody knows more than Umar."
Right.
And Umar was corrected by woman.
He submitted.
He didn't have no problem with that.
Right. He submitted. You tell a brother, your husband, Akid, Maghrib is not in yet, or whatever. You just give him, and you're polite about it. Who you talking to, woman? I'm the one that tell you what to do around here. Like, no, that's not correct.
Like a lot of people got ego issues. Like the former imam of this masjid, Imam Tariq, rahimahullah. May Allah have mercy on him.
I mean,
he's tell a story when he was part of a particular group, right? And he had a private conversation with the imam of the group. And, he voiced his opinion and made some suggestions with regards to an issue. And, later on, at a community get-together, the imam was like, we got traitors amongst us. We got hypocrites and infiltrators. And the brother, the one who used to be the imam here, Imam Tariq, is sitting there like, yeah, who these people is, man? Yeah, we need to deal with them, yeah, right? See, man, because this is like a long time ago. This is like, long time ago. And so he's going on, and, getting everybody all hyped up, against this hypocrite and this infiltrator, right? And then he called them out, Brother Tariq Ismaili. He was like, subhanallah. We had this conversation in private. We wasn't even an argument. You appeared to agree with me, but now you twisted this whole thing up just because your ego felt like you got crushed based upon some knowledge, and now you made me seem like I'm the hypocrite and have everybody looking at me sideways. And that's the way a lot of people are. You can't even disagree with them or correct their knowledge even in private, humbly.
Right.
It just eats them up. It burns them up. Hence said, I want to tell you something. When I met my husband and he was attempting to teach me, he said, tell me how you make wudu. I arrogantly told him. He corrected me, and I was hot as fire. But alhamdulillah, he showed me what I was doing was wrong. But yes, I hated to be corrected. I remember one time in the penitentiary, the imam had all of us making salat. It wasn't time for salat. It was like a demonstration.
Right.
But he said, act like you making salat.
Right.
Make 2 rakats out loud. Even the parts that's always silent, say it out loud so everyone can hear. Right?
Right.
Man, you should have heard the excuses. Well, if I'm demonstrating the salat, why I gotta say the parts out loud that's always silent anyway, right? People had all types of excuses. Then some brothers tried to get guerrilla. Like, nobody gonna tell me how to make salat, man. What? This is the penitentiary, right?
Right.
So, them brothers demonstrated that's a lot. I just gonna put it like that. Them brothers demonstrated that's a lot. And you know what I learned?
What?
The one that's always wanted to be in front of people. The ones that's always had something to say, always knew the answer. Those brothers, the only parts of the salat that they knew is the parts that's always out loud.
So they ain't know nothing.
No. Some of these brothers didn't know, even though Subhana Rabbi al-A'la, they didn't even know that. Subhana Rabbi al-Azim, they didn't know that.
Ego.
They didn't know Atayatullah. They didn't know that. They didn't know none of that stuff. They know a whole bunch of surahs. They knew Fatiha. They knew all that. Sami Allahu liman hamida. They knew all that. But the parts that's always silent, they didn't know.
They ain't know. Yep. That's crazy.
And you would have thought these brothers had all the knowledge.
Right.
And so, and this is one of the ways that we were taught. Like
it humbled you.
Yeah, and when I was taught to make wudu, I had to demonstrate the wudu I knew already.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, don't just tell me. Make the wudu.
Right.
Right.
SubhanAllah.
Right. And then when you learn classically like that, you learn the subtle things that a lot of time we gloss over. Like, for example, the difference between wiping a limb and washing a limb. Mm-hmm. We don't really appreciate that because a lot of us, when we make wudu, the tap is on and the water's running. So we don't know the difference between washing and wiping. As far as we're concerned, everything is washing.
Right.
But in wudu, certain things call for wiping and certain things call for washing.
Right.
You know, and so a lot of times we don't know the difference between these things because we haven't demonstrated in front of other people.
Right.
You know,
and just to kind of wrap up, if you don't have the foundations, the basics, stop trying to climb for that higher knowledge, like that high, that knowledge that's not going to benefit you because you don't even know who Allah is, you don't know who the Prophet is, you don't know, what it is to make salat, pay the zakat, the requirements of Hajj and fasting in month of Ramadan. You got people that don't even know those basics, but yet they want to do all this, getting all this higher knowledge to do what? So you can show off in front of the people?
Yeah.
And you can't even teach the basics because you done skipped over that, got up to here, don't know how you got here, and can't even explain it because you got to make reference to the basics.
Exactly.
And we got to stop being ashamed of the basics. We got to always go back to the basics. You always got to brush up on something because you know how the human mind is. We forget, we get into habit, and then you don't realize that you've been doing something wrong so long that when it comes to being corrected, you be like, I've been doing this all this long, and then you can't even go back to when you started. You gotta brush up. Yeah. You gotta, test yourself, quiz, each other, as husband and wife. Do a quiz or what have you. If you have a question, ask it. Right. A dumb question is the one that's not asked. That's the dumb question. Be like, I want to ask a stupid question. No, the stupid question is the one that wasn't asked because you didn't put it out there. So, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. We gotta go.
Yep, gotta go.
Maghrib is in, and alhamdulillah, they want the reward without the sacrifice. Alhamdulillah.
Yep.
Sorry, but we gotta check out abruptly, Alhamdulillah, because Maghrib is in. I know all of you who are on the coast, the East Coast, it's been there for a minute for y'all. So alhamdulillah, we're going to close out. This show was brief. Alhamdulillah, I pray that it was beneficial. And if you are married, and knowledge is not a centerpiece in your marriage, we pray that you make it a centerpiece. It will help you grow together, and it will alleviate a lot of problems. Instead of knowledge being used as a weapon or a tool against your spouse, it can be used as a tool to grow together.
Right.
Alhamdulillah. If you're not married, make sure that knowledge, is something that's primary. Be careful because a lot of people say they care about knowledge when they're looking for a wife, or a husband. But just look at their study habits ahead of time. Observe all of that. Make sure that the person really is concerned about knowledge, because someone that has iman in their heart, when they learn something, is a good taste to it. And when you eat something that tastes good, you want to get more and more of it. And this is what beneficial knowledge does to the believer. When he tastes it, when Allah finally gives him that fahm, that understanding, that he wants more and more of it. It shouldn't be the other way around. So we pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless all of our marriages. And for those of you who aren't married, we pray that you get married soon and Allah blesses that marriage.
Ameen.
Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta wastaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Wal 'asr innal insana lafi khusr illa alladhina amanu wa 'amilu salihati wa tawassaw bil haqqi wa tawassaw bis sabr. Assalamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaykum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.